Today's recipe is based on one of the Pioneer Woman's recipes. She calls them funeral potatoes. Some people call them company potatoes, but it's a delicious side dish of creamy and cheesy potatoes with a crunchy, buttery topping. I'm going to be adding some chicken to it to make it a full-on meal in a jar. But you could leave out the protein and make this as a side dish. Either way, it's absolutely scrumptious, and I think y'all are really going to enjoy this one. Well, hi there, everyone. My name is Kareth. I'm a wife, a mom, an author, and a cook. On this channel, I like to create recipes using freeze-dried food. Sometimes it's completely shelf-stable, like a meal or a mix in a jar. Other times, I combine freeze-dried with fresh, but all the time, it's delicious. I'm here to help people who have freeze-dried food on their shelves to know how to cook with it. I test out recipes so you don't have to. Welcome to the Freeze-Dried Foodie. This recipe here is very similar to Hashbrown Casserole in that the main star of the recipe is the potatoes and the cheesy, creamy sauce. But unlike a hash brown casserole, there's no like green bell peppers, red bell peppers, that kind of thing. There are some onions in here and some really yummy, flavorful seasonings, but you can add those if you want though, because those would go really well in here. I'll put a list of the ingredients up on the screen you'll need to make this, but you can sub in those other ingredients if that's what you like. I needed about 3 servings of this, so I went ahead and got out a quart-sized jar, and that's what the recipe down below that I'll write the exact measurements. I'll write that in the description box. That's what the recipe down below is going to reflect, is 3 good-sized servings. If you don't need that much food, you just feel free to cut all this in half. That should work just fine as well. All right, in with the diced potatoes, I am adding some ingredients for the creamy and yummy sauce. The first thing I added was some cream of soup mix. So that recipe is up on my channel. I'll link to it below. And the next thing I'm adding is some French onion soup mix. Again, I have that recipe on my channel. You could sub it with an envelope of onion soup mix if you don't have my homemade version. I'm also including some of my cheese sauce. I'll link that copycat recipe below. You could use the Thrivalist cheese sauce. And I've got some sour cream powder going in here as well as some butter powder. So I bet you can tell with all of those fantastic, yummy, creamy, and cheesy ingredients, this is going to be so, so good. You might give that a tap, tap, tap and settle those ingredients. In goes some freeze-dried cheddar. Now I went ahead and pulsed that in the blender just to make it a really fine powder, and it's gonna melt really nicely in my sauce if it's already blended. I wanted to make this a full-on meal, so I'm gonna be adding some freeze-dried chicken here, and that's the freeze-dried pulled chicken from freeze-dry wholesalers. And if you don't have that kind, you could use a freeze-dried grilled chicken or chicken slices. That works well. If you're not wanting to make this a full-on meal, you could just fill that in with whatever you like. You can add more potatoes, you could add zucchini, other vegetables. Just so the jar is full, this recipe will work. If you shake it down every once in a while and kind of settle those ingredients and the gaps and the spaces, then you'll have more room at the top of your jar for more ingredients. So I got an additional probably 1/4 cup of chicken there just by settling those ingredients down. And like I said, you could just fill that in with more potatoes if you want this just to be a side dish. Just so your jar is full, it's going to work. All right, so here's your jar that you could keep stored on your pantry shelf, and then it'll be ready and waiting for you. And that is just a huge convenience for my family. I really enjoy cooking with shelf-stable ingredients. If you are interested in getting more of my recipes in cookbook form, I have 2 cookbooks that are for sale in print. Those are on Amazon. I also have them available in a digital download. That's on my website. I'll link to all of this below. And I just came out with a new soups cookbooklet, and it's got probably 42 or so recipes. It's just $6.99. I will link that below as well. Whenever you're ready to make this, it is a simple just add water recipe. You can get out a large skillet, and then I added about 3.5 cups of water to that. And y'all, all you have to do is stir it, get some heat going, and you'll want to bring this to a bubble. Now, I don't know what y'all's experience is with the freeze-dried potatoes, but in my experience, they are stubborn little boogers. I don't know what it is about those freeze-dried potatoes, but they don't really want to get soft very quickly. So this is how I do it. I leave it on a medium heat, so I'm not rushing anything. I put it on medium and I bring it up to a slow boil, and then I reduce that heat down to medium low. So I landed at a 3.5 out of 10 on my stove, and that was the perfect bubbly temperature. And I just let it go for 15 minutes. So it probably took about 5 minutes to come to a boil on medium. Then I reduced the heat to medium low and let it go for 15 minutes. Okay, so for me, that was the perfect amount of time to make sure that those potatoes got good and tender. So I don't know, you'll have to tell me down below what your experience is with the potato dices, but for me, mine are pretty stubborn and it takes a good amount of time to get them tender. So as that cooks, it's going to reduce and it will darken and it will thicken. And you do need to come along every once in a while and stir this. So probably every 3 or 4 minutes, come give it a stir. Just because you've got cheese in there and those potatoes, everything's going to want to stick. So be sure to come along and stir it from the bottom. So here's what mine looked like after 15 minutes of that simmer. See how much thicker that is now? And if you'll notice, the potatoes are still nice and chunky. All right, so go ahead and give that a taste. You can adjust your seasonings at this point in time. I didn't add a thing. Now's a good time to add that crunchy, buttery topping. I cooked this in an oven-safe skillet. I didn't even have to transfer this to a casserole dish. I took some corn flakes and I busted them up in a little baggie, added some melted butter, and I threw that in the oven and put it under the broiler for just about 3 minutes. I got it a little toasty on the top, and that's all there is to it. You could use Ritz crackers, you could use panko breadcrumbs. I like the corn flakes. But y'all, you do have to let it sit and just rest for at least 5 minutes. You need that sauce to tighten up. It'll be too loose if you immediately try to serve it. So give it like 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, that's all you need. And that sauce is gonna firm up and your casserole will be ready to serve at that point. Isn't that a lovely potato casserole? Our company potatoes. I think it's really, really pretty. And hopefully you can see that it's a really nice texture. So those potatoes are still good and chunky, and they are just surrounded by that lovely, cheesy, creamy sauce. And of course, I've got chicken in mine, right? You don't have to do the chicken, but I really like the chicken in here. The day I made this, I didn't want to really mess with anything else. I wanted the chicken in here, and that's all I wanted to deal with. But if you don't put the chicken in here and it's just all potatoes, y'all, this is a fantastic side dish for any kind of meat. It's great alongside pork chops. It's great alongside some grilled chicken. It's really good with a steak. I mean, it's just a really nice complement to any kind of protein. But that's the nice thing about cooking with freeze-dried food is, let's say you make this as a side dish, okay? And you get it out and you think, I don't even have anything that I can serve this alongside. I don't have any meat. Well, it doesn't matter. Just throw it in your skillet, in your pot, and add some freeze-dried meat to it at that time. And you might have to add like a little extra water, but it's really customizable. And that's just like one of the really nice things about having freeze-dried food on your shelves is that it's just ready and waiting for you whenever you're ready for it. So I really do enjoy cooking with freeze-dried food, and I'm assuming you do too, and that's why you're here. Y'all, It's so good. The flavor of the sauce is incredible. And I think it's because of everything we included in it. It's not just a cheese sauce, it's a creamy cheese sauce. It's not just a creamy cheese sauce, it's a really flavorful creamy cheese sauce because of the inclusion of that French onion soup mix and the cream of soup in there. Like, y'all, it is so full of flavor. This is not a boring potato dish. This is a fantastically flavored potato dish. If you include the optional topping, that crunchy topping, the cornflakes, the texture there is amazing. So you have the creamy, soft potatoes as well as the really nice, crunchy cornflake topping. Y'all, this one is a winner. This is a great recipe, and I hope you give it a try. Well, thank y'all so much for watching. I really do appreciate you. Please be a friend and leave me a comment below and hit that like button. Really appreciate that. I've got a Bible verse for us for today, Psalm 62, verses 7 and 8, and it reads, "On God rests my salvation and my glory, my mighty rock, my refuge is God. Trust in him at all times, O people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us." Amen. All right, y'all. Well, I hope you have a fantastic day, a wonderful week, and until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.